Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Ammolite is an iridescent gemstone that's recently found its way onto the pages of Gem and Mineral News for being a new national gemstone. Canada has many gemstones that are popular around the world, such as the famous Canadian diamond. This should be good because we have never covered this gemstone before. Ammolite is not actually a mineral or a gem in the traditional sense. Instead, it is a type of fossilized shell. What makes it special, though, is that the fossils from which ammolite is made are extremely old. Ammolite is mostly found in the western side of North America, specifically in Canada, the United States, and Mexico. There are also a few occurrences in Europe and Asia, but these are extremely rare and do not produce nearly as much ammolite as the ones in the Americas. Ammolite can be left in its natural form, but it's often cut into cabochons, which are simply smooth, polished stones with a flat bottom and a curved top. The most common colors you'll find in ammolite are rainbow, blue, green, orange, yellow, and red, out of 10 on the Mohs hardness scale. Ammolite scores around a 3 to a 4. This means it's relatively soft and can be scratched or damaged more easily than harder minerals. This means that in the near future, it could become even more popular and valuable. If you enjoyed learning about this amazing gemstone as much as I did, please subscribe to the channel and leave a comment below. I love reading your comments and I always respond to them personally. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye. So if you're thinking about getting some ammolite, it might be a good idea to do so sooner rather than later. Because of this, ammolite should be treated with extra care, and it's probably best suited for items that wow and be in direct contact with other hard surfaces. With proper care, though, ammolite can last for many years and become a cherished part of your life. But there are also some more rare colors, like purple, pink, and brown. Well, luckily for us, ammolite is relatively inexpensive compared to other gemstones. This is probably due to the abundance of ammolite material found in Canada and the ease with which it can be polished and cut. A small faceted stone may cost anywhere from $10 to $30, while a larger cabochon could cost a few $100s or more, depending on the quality and color. If you're really lucky, you might even find some raw material for cheap and do the cutting and polishing yourself. Some people say that the colors you see in ammolite are the result of iridescence, similar to that seen in opals. But this is not true. Instead, the colors come from the different minerals that make up the ammolite. As we mentioned earlier, the different minerals that are trapped inside the shell cause it to be stained different colors, resulting in the beautiful banding we see today. This allows the light to reflect and refract in interesting ways, bringing out the beauty of the ammolite. Sometimes the cabochon is cut in a shape like a circle, oval, or hexagon, but other times it's left in its natural spiral shape. Whichever shape is used, the end result is always stunning. Out of all of these locations, the highest quality specimens tend to come from Canada, specifically the province of Alberta. These specimens often have the best color zoning and preservation, making them the most sought after by collectors. Other provinces like British Columbia and even the southern part of the Yukon also produce ammolite. But the quality isn't quite as good. It's beautiful, dating all the way back to the Cretaceous period. It's actually a surprisingly simple process that any gem enthusiast can do at home. The first step is to clean the fossil as much as possible. This includes removing any rock, dirt, or other unwanted materials stuck to the outside of the shell. The next step is polishing the surface of the ammolite to reveal its colorful interior. Ammolite is unique in that it has alternating bands of lighter and darker colored materials inside its shell. These bands were originally white, but over the millions of years that they've been buried, they've picked up impurities that have stained them different colors. These stains make the ammolite so unique and beautiful, but they can also make it a little fragile since they're not uniform. So care must be taken when cutting and polishing the stone to make sure that it doesn't break or chip. During the time these fossils were alive, we were actually swimming around in the same waters as dinosaurs and other prehistoric creatures. However, not much is known about ammolites, so we will cover everything from what it is all the way up to where you can get your hands on some. They have a central body with a bunch of tentacles around their mouth used for feeding. Ammonites also had a spiral-shaped shell. These shells could range anywhere from 2 inches to over 3 feet in diameter. That's pretty big. The name Ammolite comes from the scientific name for ammonites, which is ammonites. The reason why they're called ammonites instead of ammonites is still a bit of a mystery. but it's likely due to a mispronunciation somewhere along the line. In any case, these days people call them ammonites, and that's probably how it'll stay for years to come. So without further ado, let's roll the intro and dive right into today's video. Around 75 million years ago during the Cretaceous period, there was a mass extinction event. Perhaps you've heard of it. With the asteroids and the non-avian dinosaurs going extinct and like 75% of all species disappearing, well, this event also killed off most ammonites, leaving behind a ton of their fossils. For whatever reason, some ammonite shells ended up buried deep in the ground where they were protected from weathering and erosion. Fast forward to today, and sometimes when mines are dug or the earth is otherwise disturbed, these fossils are brought back to the surface, sometimes in large quantities. We will start with the basics of what Ammolite is, and then work our way into more complex topics. Ammonites are technically classified as cephalopods, just like squid and octopus. The reason Ammolite is even discovered at all is due to a very strange occurrence. Ammonites were so abundant in some areas that entire quarries were dedicated to collecting their shells. So how does one go from having an ancient fossil to a beautiful piece of jewelry? Once the Ammolite has been polished, it's ready to be cut and shaped however the jeweler sees fit. Speaking of stunning, the colors found in Ammolite are equally amazing. This brings us to another important fact about Ammolite: its durability. So now that we know what Ammolite is, where does one get their hands on some? But wait, there's more. Ammolite has recently been selected as the National Gemstone of Canada. With all that said, it's time to wrap up today's video.